Well, now it looks like former Eagles quarterback is working out with Jon Gruden, of all people, down in Tampa Bay, trying to become a starter in the league again this year. And Kirk Cousins, it's his final year in Minnesota, at least according to him. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Thursday. Jump into the latest NFL and Eagles news and rumors. If you're new, subscribe down below. First, we begin with a very happy birthday to Nick Sirianni, 42 years young. Of course, the Eagles franchise youngest head coach to ever take the team to a Super Bowl, and one of the best young coaches in the National Football League, in my opinion. Kind of a interesting year 3. Obviously, year 1 was what we expected. 9 wins, blown out in the playoffs. Year 2, overachieved. Super Bowl. What does year 3 have for in store for Nick Sirianni? Thumbs up for him, and a very happy birthday. Now, he's not the youngest head coach in the National Football League. He's actually not the youngest coach by far. The list you see on your screen right now: McVay is 37, O'Connell's 37, Steichen's 37, D'Amico Ryans is 38, Mike McDaniels is 39, Zach Taylor is 40, Brandon Staley is 40, Arthur Smith is 40, Nick Sirianni, of course, is 42. He's alongside Kevin Stefanski and Kyle Shanahan as you go through kind of the ages of all the coaches in the National Football League. He's not the youngest, but who cares? It's all about winning football, and right now he has a credible win-loss record and one of the best resumes of any coach through their first 2 years in the National Football League. Very comparable to Doug Peterson. Remember, the Eagles, Doug Peterson, rookie year, kind of just up and down, weren't able to figure things out. Year 2, win a Super Bowl, very similar to what Nick Sirianni was able to do in his second year under Philadelphia. Okay, I want to also give a happy birthday, or at least a congratulations, officially to the Dallas Cowboys, who now have reached 10,000 days without a Super Bowl. 27 years, 4 months, and 17 days. Yes, it's a little bit petty, but come on, this is a big accomplishment for Cowboy fans. 10,000 days, more than I've been alive. I'm 27 years old, but I'm 27 and 2 months years old now. My birthday was in April. So since their last Super Bowl, which was before I was born, the Cowboys are 5-12 in the playoffs. They've had 15 non-playoff seasons. 15 non-playoff seasons, 7 first-round exits, 0 division round victories, 0 NFC champ berths, 0 NFC championship game wins, and 0 Super Bowls. So America's team is, of course, an underachieving team, but a very big and happy congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys. And it's hard to do. There are the teams that have done it longer. Think the teams that have never been to a Super Bowl, Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, for instance, but still 10,000 days for America's team without a Super Bowl. Come on, thumbs up for that. What if we got 10,000 likes on this show for every day the Cowboys have not been to the Super Bowl? We at least get 1,000, right? At least get 1,000 likes. Hit the thumbs up button. Big day for Cowboy fans. If you know one, give them a hug, because that is a very depressing stat. How about this one? Okay, so Carson Wentz, of course, has bounced around the league now. Philadelphia didn't work out there. He moves over and goes to the Indianapolis Colts. Definitely doesn't work out there, although he didn't have a bad season. It was more just like he looked bad at the end. They lose to the Jaguars, miss the playoffs, rest is history. Then he goes to the Washington Commanders, and it was atrocious. Remember what Philadelphia did to him in that, was it week 3 matchup? Week 4 matchup? I don't remember, but it was like 11 sacks, and they absolutely obliterated him. He was benched, came back, was benched again, and since then he has not been picked up by any football team. Well, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, he has been spending time in Tampa, throwing and studying film with former NFL coach Jon Gruden. Wentz wants and intends to play this season and is awaiting the right situation. And as a lot of people are pointing out on Twitter, what a combination of personalities, right? You think back to the old Gruden QB camp on ESPN, one of my favorite pre-draft shows, by the way, where he would interview all the top quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, he's working with the pool noodles, trying to make him be a two-headed monster and climb up in the pocket. You guys remember this? I remember it very well because I wanted Carson Wentz as an Eagle fan way back in the day. Obviously, Gruden has his demons in the closet, but Jon Gruden also kind of got, not going to say unfairly let go, but I mean, come on, they basically released his private emails. How many people with their private text or emails would be completely clean in today's world? Not to say that it's, okay what Jon Gruden was saying. Obviously, it's not, but still, he was kind of scapegoated out of there from the Oakland and then Las Vegas Raiders. Don't think he will ever come back, but at least good to see he's kind of still staying in the football mindset, working with Wentz. Wentz's problem is, where does he go? What place needs Carson Wentz? The only real option is Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay has 2 quarterbacks right now, and Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield, who seemingly are going to battle out for the starting position. There really is another football team, which we can go through the list here and try and find one that makes sense for Carson Wentz. Unless you wanted him to be a Raider, maybe, which would be funny because Gruden was formerly a Raider. Wentz would be a backup for Jimmy Garoppolo in the Raiders, but the Garoppolo, ankle situation is very interesting as well, so I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but it is at least worth noting that Carson Wentz is trying to make his way back. Will he ever be the quarterback he was in 2017? No, clearly not, and people say all the time, mentally, he got kind of destroyed destroyed after that. And again, whether it's fault or not, was the talent around him good or not? I'm not sure. I mean, 2017 was a special year. He probably should have won the Super Bowl that year. Of course, he watches his backup come in and win it for him. The rest is history, you know. I don't have any hate in my heart towards Carson Wentz, but I obviously am happy the Eagles drafted his replacement while he was still on the roster and have given the keys to the castle to seemingly a much more focused and, I mean, determine the right word there? What's the word for how much better Jalen Hurts is than Carson Wentz? You tell me down below. Other NFC quarterback news here. How about this from Ari Mirov? Quote, Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins confirmed that he doesn't expect to have further contract extension talks this offseason, meaning he's set to play out the final year of his deal and is now scheduled to be a free agent next offseason, end quote. There's always been this kind of weird rift between the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. They don't seem to fully like each other, you know? It's like you're dating a girl and you like her, but you also think you can do better, but you also probably couldn't do that much better if you were, single, and so you're just going to go ahead and stay with her and marry her for the rest of the way, and, it'll be fine. You'll be happy, but will you be truly happy? Not exactly sure. That's how the Vikings are here. They don't love Kirk Cousins. They would love to upgrade over Kirk Cousins, but there aren't a ton of upgrades over Kirk Cousins, right? Plus, the 10 out of 10s of the league don't want to go to the Minnesota Vikings, and so they have to basically, eventually, cut the cord and then go ahead and draft somebody and hope it works out. The problem with that is, though, that puts you in rebuild mode, and you have Justin Jefferson, and you have a very good defense, and you have all these weapons on the outside, and I mean, listen, even with getting rid of Dalvin Cook, as we'll talk about, they still have a good running game as well. You don't want to have to rebuild when the team is really built to win. They won 13 games last year. Their point differential was the problem. They got blown up by Philadelphia and obliterated by the Dallas Cowboys. So things are shifting in the NFC as they always have been. There are not a lot of great quarterbacks. Truly, the only real superstar one left is Jalen Hurts, and the question now will become what to do with Kirk Cousins and where he could possibly go if the Vikings do not give him an extended contract at the end of this year. Speaking of the Vikings, Dalvin Cook, the update here, according to Barry Jackson, the Miami Herald, is Dalvin Cook is seeking somewhere in the ballpark of $10.4 million. Cook will make $2 million in 2023 if he does not play, which we all know is not going to work in terms of not playing. I mean, ask Le'Veon Bell, right? It never worked because when you don't play as a running back, you get 1 year older, and people aren't really interested in, of course, bringing you back and putting you in a command of a lot of money. Now, $10 million is interesting. We talked about Saquon Barkley yesterday, turning down $14 million a year. $10 million would put him right about the Aaron Joneses of the world, right? So McCaffrey makes 16, Kamara makes 15, Derrick Henry makes 12.5, Nick Chubb makes 12.2, Mixon makes 12, Aaron Jones makes 11.5, and then Pollard and Josh Jacobs make 10. That's the wild part of Saquon turning down 14, because 14 would make him the second highest paid guy, which with multiple injuries to the lower body, that seemingly is a fair offer, right? Dalvin Cook wanting 10 at the age he is at, I know he had over 1,000 yards last year. It just seems like a lot, right? I mean, you talk about Austin Eckler had like 18 touchdowns last year. He got a restructured deal. He makes 6. $10 million would be insane for Dalvin Cook. I'd pay 6. Sure, whether it's Philadelphia or somewhere else, the Eagles won't do it. But you get my point. $6 million for Dalvin Cook for 2 years, 3 years, fine. It make a lot of sense. But would another football team trying to contend with an already limited cap, also being the issue because we're post-draft, post-free agency, so most teams have spent their money, do they want to spend $10 million on him? No, I don't think it makes a ton of sense. Now, when you actually go ahead and look at the cap space of every single NFL team, there are a couple of teams that have more money than other teams. What's interesting, though, is Miami is the one rumored to be really interested in Dalvin Cook. They're at about $13 to $14 million in free cap space. Everybody else here doesn't really need Dalvin Cook, right? Maybe the Bears, you can make an argument there, but Panthers signed Miles Sanders. The Jets have a bunch of different options. The Lions have a bunch of different options. The Colts have Jonathan Taylor. The Cowboys have Tony Pollard. Minnesota, doesn't want to pay him, so we know that. Browns have Nick Chubb. Texans have a really good young running back. I mean, Packers, Steelers, they all have young running backs or running backs that they like. So where are you going to go, Dalvin? I'm not sure. I think that it makes the most sense would be Miami, just because Miami is seemingly going all in and trying to protect themselves to have enough weapons for a backup quarterback if Tua, heaven forbid, were to have another injury. Therefore, they would still be able to possibly win some games without him, as they kind of did last year and were at least competitive in the postseason. They gave it a good run there in their first round exit. Okay, it is the offseason, and so naturally there's not a ton of stuff going on, but everything that happens over the next couple of days and weeks is covered here. And if you missed the live stream last night, myself and Josh Davis on the Philly Special Show, we got into a bunch of Eagle position battles, a bunch of Eagle topics and conversations, and we go for over an hour and a half every single Wednesday live, answering your questions, and thousands of you guys watch. It's a bunch of fun, so if you appreciate that, you missed it, you can replay it. I mean, it's on both of our channels right now, but be sure to tune into our next live show on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Again, plenty more stuff happening over the next couple of days and weeks. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.